Good morning, everyone. I'm Tim Cook, product leader here at LaunchDarkly. I'm joined by Kelly King, product marketing counterpart here. And we've been cooking up a game-changing way for engineering teams to go about your feature releases. We're excited to dive in and walk you through it and help you understand how we can enable your teams to catch bugs before your customers do, with an entirely new solution that LaunchDarkly has been working on that has really fundamentally changed how our team and how your teams can tackle risk within all new code releases. So let's get started, Kelly. You go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much, Tim. So now, if everything was perfect, then there wouldn't be much room for us to talk about or much room for change, right? But we believe that software releases today are fundamentally broken. The pace of innovation is increasing, but that speed comes with risk. And we see this all the time. Teams are rushing to meet market demands only to pay the price in reliability. And as a result, instead of proactively innovating, companies are stuck reacting to failures and really building systems designed for what could go wrong rather than what could go right. And we think it's time to rethink this approach and really challenge that status quo. I mean, why are so many of your KPIs laced around MTTR and change failure rate instead of the pace of innovation? Well, it's because the possible impact to your business is very real. I mean, here's why we're hypervigilant. We can't afford not to be. And there's some uncomfortable proof. Bugs are inevitable, and they lead to frequent and costly incidents. 80% of these incidents are tied directly to software changes. And for large enterprises, even 1 hour of downtime can cost up to $1 million. And it gets worse. 99% of teams fail to meet their resolution time goals, leading to extended outages that not only hurt their bottom lines, but also damage brand and customer trust. And if over half of customers leave after just one poor experience, then yeah, the stakes are incredibly high.
That's me. So yeah, Kelly, this feeling is really pervasive. I've seen this at many software companies. Risk can really paralyze the business, right? Instead of driving growth and innovation, teams get stuck in reactive cycles. Approximately 50% of costs that we've seen often go to find and fix bugs over the lifetime of a mature software product. These firefighting efforts cause burnout, wasted resources, and an enormous opportunity cost where you cannot work on new features, right? Your developers, some of the brightest minds at your company, are often spending half their times just fixing bugs, addressing incidents, instead of building new features that actually drive your business forward. It's a vicious cycle. I've seen teams, spend weeks jumping into war rooms, having sleepless nights, staying up late, handling, pager duty alerts. And the reality is that we've built an entire system around failure states, and it's draining your team. I've seen it drain so many software teams over the past decade. So the question is, why is this sort of grind, sort of incident management ongoing, not being able to build new features? Why is this the status quo? So part of this is that releases used to be big application-wide updates, right? So we could observe the entire application and understand the impact of every release. But as DevOps practices have gotten better over the past 10, 20 years, and feature management tools like LaunchDarkly have made releases faster and smaller, our observability tools have not caught up with this resizing of the way that we ship. And so our observability tools are no longer right-sized for sort of the package size of the features that we're shipping. It used to be that you would ship a CD-ROM and kind of have this like huge update all at one time. And then, teams move to more and more small releases, to the point where now we're releasing continuously in these very, very, very small increments, but those increments are not measured on their own. So at LaunchDarkly, we believe that it all starts at the point of the release. But here's the problem. When you release new code, it can take time for issues to surface at the application level. Often you'll only detect those issues after significant damage is done, like some of the examples that Kelly shared from our friends at Sonos and Snapchat and others, where the release was already rolled out to 100% of their customers, and maybe it took, hours or even days or, a week in some cases before it was understood and noticed. In the best case, you have set up monitoring, and maybe you'll find that at some point. But worst case, you often find out from your customers, or in Kelly's example, from Kylie Jenner on TikTok. And let's face it, when customers are the ones that are telling you about the problem that you have, your trust with them is already eroding. And where there's smoke, there's fire, and worse things might be happening.
So once an issue is detected, the clock starts ticking, but you're already behind. Why? Because you're relying on lagging indicators, not proactive signals. Here's the vibe. The current state of release practices feels broken. Your setup is like an impossible mousetrap. It's no wonder your focus is on MTTR. Wasn't software supposed to simplify this? Well, we found a lot of teams' workflow looks something like this. The release happens. Customers are the first to report that something's gone wrong. The blast radius builds before a third-party system like your APM notifies you, but you still don't know what, where, or why it happened. So now your engineers must scramble to find the problematic code. And if they're lucky, it's controlled by a feature flag. If so, they can toggle the flag and stop the bleeding. But teams still jump from tool to tool, trying to trace the root cause, patch the issue, develop tests, and deploy the fix. Then rinse and repeat, re-entering that watch, wait, and see loop. That's a cycle of failure. And while you may already be using LaunchDarkly, even with feature flags and alerting, things can still go wrong. Let's say you roll out a flag to 100% of users. Sure, you'll catch the issue fast, but the damage is done. Incremental rollouts, yes, they minimize impact, but they also bury signals and noise, making problems harder to detect.
Part of the reason for this is that our traditional observability tools are just not sensitive enough, right? And in a given day, you're shipping many changes over the course of time, and it's hard to identify which change actually caused the issue. You might be looking at a chart in one of those observability tools, seeing metrics go up and down. There's a lot of noise happening. In addition to maybe your feature flag changes, you also have code deploys, configuration changes. Modern teams are shipping continuously, and so there are continuous changes going out. In many cases, dozens or even hundreds of times a day, new changes are appearing in different applications. And so when a metric goes up, errors spike, something is looking bad, it is very hard to understand what was the root cause and what do we do to fix it and roll it back. Again, many teams sit in the incident war room with their boss, their boss's boss, their boss's boss's boss, trying to figure out what went wrong, how do we fix it, how do we mitigate the customer impact. And often you're looking at a chart like this and you're like, we don't know. There was 20 plus things that happened. It could have been any one of these. Let's ask everyone, look at, commits and really dig in and try and understand. And it just does not work very well because we're not measuring these individual changes on their own. And so the opportunity here is that feature flags give you control. But you also need clarity to make decisions based on the impact of your changes. What if you could isolate your performance issues to just one specific change rather than your entire application? Less noise, more signal is what we're interested in. And that's the visibility that you need. And that's the visibility that we've been working to build for us and for our customers. We should be able to observe at the size and the speed that we release. As releases have changed and they've gotten smaller, observability also needs to change and get smaller and be tied to that point of release. A lot of teams that we've spoken with over the last couple months, we're trying to strike the right balance in collaborating with them in terms of helping support both speed and safety, right? We want you to support you to build and deliver fast, deliver continuously without blowing anything up, and having monitoring for each of those individual changes. So LaunchDarkly, we've been building feature management tools for a long time. We make it very easy to revert a change, revert a feature flag, sure. But that's just the start. Fixing, testing, redeploying, still can keep teams stuck in that reactive mode, firefighting instead of building. So we've taken it one step further. What if there should never be any smoke to begin with? There should be no customer impact when you break something. You need a way to put out the smoke and never be in a place where it turns into this big blazing fire that costs your company $300 million in some recent cases. So at LaunchDarkly, we envision a future where that's possible because every release is a guarded release.
What that looks like is having real-time visibility into your code, isolated from the noise of your entire system with automatic alerts and instant mitigation. By focusing on the metrics that matter, we can pinpoint and respond to issues before they become incidents. Developer velocity is the critical determinant of company success. So teams are under pressure to move fast. We get it. So what really matters to teams is their ability to innovate and deliver the right things quickly. But speed isn't the only thing. We're all stewards of the customer experience here, and we need to ensure the things that we're delivering are high quality. Think about it. How fast could you innovate if you weren't worried about risk? With LaunchDarkly, this future isn't just possible, it's here.
And what we've done to make this possible is we built tools that allow LaunchDarkly to zoom in and measure each change directly. So every time you ship a new feature, ship a software change, we're able to answer the most critical question. Did this release make things better or worse for your customers? Here's what's life, looked like before guarded releases for us and for our customers that are using this. You would push a change, head out from work, sit down to dinner, maybe start watching a movie with your family, and bam, alerts start rolling in. Maybe you're managing incidents that week, and now you're up late fixing it, and you're kind of wrecked the next day. You can't get any work done, and very quickly, a week where you were planning to be very productive, get a lot of good work done, build new features, new value for your customers and your business, you're kind of wrecked, and you're really just in incident firefighting mode for the day, the night, the week. Your MTDD is really high. You're not detecting issues until your users do. Your mean time to resolution is also high because you're fixing under pressure, right? It's not easy to address issues when you're in that Slack channel with 20 other people and it's urgent and it's late, you're not sleeping. So what we're trying to do here is after guarded releases with LaunchDarkly, the story changes pretty drastically around incidents and incident management. So instead, you push a change, you go home, you go to sleep. And the reason why you can do this is because the guarded releases system that we've built can auto-detect issues if something goes wrong and roll them back automatically. And so instead of staying up late in that Slack room with your boss and your boss's boss's boss, instead you're just sleeping and you wake up, you find out the next day that, oh, something did go wrong, but it's cool. We reverted it, we fixed it, and rolled it back for you. And now there's just a ticket assigned to look into the root cause and deploy some new code to fix it later, because at this point, there is no customer impact. Issues are caught fast, rollback is instant, and you get to sleep, which, as we all know, is critical to our health and the future of our ability to do good work at the companies where we work.
That sounds awesome. So welcome to a new era at LaunchDarkly, where we're introducing a new solution that de-risks software releases by monitoring critical metrics like errors and latency in real time, diagnosing issues at the feature flag level, and instantly recovering with alerts or auto rollbacks. This is guarded releases. And Tim, I think it's way past time for us to see it in action. So I'm going to hand over the screen to you.
All right, a demo, a live demo?
A live demo, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, let me make sure I pull up the right thing here. Okay, so how does this actually work? LaunchDarkly has been a feature management tool, and we've continued to add lots of incredible new features to expand feature management into this space where we can do observability of all your new features when they go out. So of course, in order to do this, the first thing that you need are some metrics that you can use to monitor all of your releases. We need metric events to understand whether or not things are going right. or things are going wrong. So we've made this really easy to get set up with some auto-generated metrics from the LaunchDarkly SDK. So we have a number of different options for this. As one example, you can go ahead and just npm install browser telemetry in the JavaScript SDK. Just a simple configuration to start getting some key error metrics and other things that you can use to automatically monitor all of your future releases. So in this example, you're not spiking errors and can automatically roll back if errors happen. So once you set up metrics, say with our auto-generated metrics option, or we have great support for OpenTelemetry and many other data sources and integrations with tools like Segment, Sentry, and many others to bring data in from all the places where you have key engineering or business metrics that you want to use to monitor your releases. Our recommendation is you have a few key metrics and you monitor all releases against those moving forward. Once your metrics are set up, it'll look something like this in LaunchDarkly, where you have a number of metrics coming in from different sources. As you can see here, we have something like error rates. We also have something like, cart items being added, or, maybe negative feedback on an AI engineering experience that you have. Whatever your business model, you can define those key metrics that should absolutely never break whenever you ship a new feature, because that's high signal that we're doing it wrong and we need to roll things back. All of these are powered by a really powerful new feature called Event Explorer in LaunchDarkly, where we can see all of your events come in from all your different sources. And as soon as they do, whether they be an auto-generated event and metric or a custom event that you want to send to us, we make it very easy to identify those sources, set them up. You see examples here from OpenTelemetry, Snowflake, and others, where you can go ahead and create a new metric in LaunchDarkly that you can use to power this guarded releases experience, as well as other features in LaunchDarkly like experimentation and other things. So once your events are coming in, your metrics are set up, then you're in a really great place to start running guarded rollouts across all of your releases. So I'll hop over and show you a little bit about how that looks. In this case, I've already set up a guarded rollout. I'm going to show you kind of what it looks like when it's doing its job really, really well. So here we shipped a new version of our API, and we were a little bit worried about it when we shipped it, but we knew that it's okay. We're monitoring it against API errors when we ship it. And in this case, we set it up to automatically roll back so that if anything went wrong, as soon as errors spiked, with a small percentage of our population, we could automatically roll it back and ensure that there were absolutely no issues affecting our customers. And we can go in here and view all the details of that. So really powerful tool, in this case, again, monitoring against errors. If I want to, I can also go ahead and show you what setting up a new guarded rollout looks like. So for any feature, we can just go to our feature flag. In this case, we're launching a new dark mode into our product, and we want to see what this looks like. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn it on. Typically, what many teams will do is they'll just, great, I'm turning it on for everyone all at once. You should basically never do that. It's so easy to use tools like LaunchDarkly to not do bad releases that just go to 100% of your customers at one time, but instead to do a really good release that is progressive and monitored against your key metrics. And that's essentially what a guarded release is in LaunchDarkly, is it's a progressive rollout that will slowly roll out to your customers starting at 1% and building up, but it's also monitored against your key metrics to make sure that you're not breaking anything. So here's what that looks like. We are going to enable dark mode, but we're not going to do it all at once. We're going to go ahead and make sure that we're monitoring it against some key metrics, right? So if for some reason our new dark mode launch is not working well and people start buying less things, then we probably should not roll it out if errors are spiking, etc. And so you can go in here and you can add one or more key metrics that you want to monitor. You can roll it out so that it's randomized by user or some other kind of context that matters to you, like device, session, etc. and start to roll this out to your audience. Of course, we recommend always using the automatic rollback capability. If you prefer to manually roll back and actually wake up and roll it back yourself using our alerting capability, you can do that. And you can also set custom thresholds here. So maybe you're okay making 1% less money from cart items and purchases in your shop, but maybe any higher than that is not okay and you want to roll it back. You can also set a rollout duration here. You can do it very quickly or very, spend a little bit longer to really de-risk this. So we'll go ahead and we'll set this up for a 24-hour release here, and we will save these changes and ship it. Once that is launched and up and running, you see we're now essentially running an experiment on all of our feature flags to really understand, what's happening here and roll this out to our users. And then we have the guarded rollout up and running. I'll also note that you can actually check out some of this functionality yourself. We have a new product sandbox that launched recently at LaunchDarkly, where you can just go to demo.app.launchdarkly.com, and you don't even need a login. You can just go right ahead and play around and actually check out a couple different examples of the guarded rollout experience here. So here you see our flag list. You can even filter this to look at just features that are kind of in this guarded rollout state. Either they're currently being monitored or maybe they've actively triggered a regression. And you can actually see the alerts from here. When something goes wrong, we can alert you in Slack, email, PagerDuty, whatever tool you prefer to kind of get notified in, so that you know that something did go wrong and you need to intervene at some point. In this case, we have another feature flag here for an onboarding experience. Here, we actually did not do the automatic rollback, but we set it up to manually roll back. We wanted to know that something went wrong and not continue to roll it out. So in this case, you see we actually stopped the progressive rollout at about 10% of traffic. By the time that 234 users were exposed to the new feature, we had enough data to make the decision that, wow, latency is actually looking really bad here, and we should not continue to roll it back. So we got an alert in PagerDuty, and we went ahead in here and then automatically rolled it back. So now your incident conversation can just be, great, I'm clicking the button, we're rolling it back to the last known good version, and we're saying, phew, no harm done. We've fixed this and resolved the issue. So that's really the whole story around guarded rollouts and in LaunchDarkly. It is very, very simple to get set up with the metrics of your choice, auto-generated metrics, and use those to run these guarded releases on every new thing that you're shipping. So I think I'll stop it there and pass it back to Kelly to wrap us up and do some Q&A here at the end.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tim. I think that was pretty cool. What Tim showed us is how you can prevent outages before they happen. It's a game changer. Guarded releases makes every deployment safer by catching issues early and minimizing that impact. So again, what you just saw, instead of risky all-at-once launches, you get fine-tuned control. Target rollouts by things like location or OS, release gradually with percentage-based rollouts, and adjust in real time without redeploying. You can even monitor performance thresholds, detect regressions fast, and let LaunchDarkly trigger auto rollbacks when things go sideways. If you're not ready for full automation, then we'll just alert you in every which manner that we can, Slack, PagerDuty, or email. And when something breaks, well, there's no more hunting. Errors are tied to feature flags with full breadcrumbs, stack traces, and real-time alerts to help you fix things fast. We've developed guarded releases to make every deployment safe and controlled. And here's why engineers say that they would never go back. From missed regressions and prolonged user impact to the constant stress of high-stakes releases, teams are telling us that guarded releases gives them the safety, the control, and the confidence that they've been missing. It's that don't shoot yourself in the foot safety net that helps catch issues early and prevent big blast radiuses. What's not to love about that? If you guys are interested in this, or if you've got any questions for us, go ahead and drop them in the chat or drop them in the Q&A. We've got a few more minutes here to tackle.
Yeah, while we're jumping into the Q&A, I'll just go back to the beginning a little bit. And one of the stories that Kelly shared on the earlier slide, the team at Sonos, right? The team at Sonos did a software release that was covered in a really interesting podcast by the Wall Street Journal recently. And in that case, the team thought they had shipped a really great update to the application. They rolled it out to 100% of their customers all at one time, and disaster struck. And essentially what we're saying here with the guarded releases capability is you should just never do that. There are really, really good tools to gradually roll out software to your lowest risk customers first and monitor it against key metrics so you don't break things. So that's what we're proposing, and that's the feature set that we built to make this possible. Kelly, you want to read out a couple questions and we can sort of answer them?
Yeah, definitely. We'll start off right here. Let's see. Do guarded releases also work for your AI configs product beyond the standard feature?
Great question, Jonathan. We are actually working on that right now, adding guarded rollouts into AI configs. It should be coming soon. Today, and actually why we built the AI configs product, is we saw hundreds and hundreds of our customers managing AI configurations and AI experiences on traditional feature flags using like really large JSON variations, right? And so, yes, we built out the AI configs tool as a first-class product that's sort of built on feature flags. And the great thing there is that we will be able to add this guarded releases capability over there as well. So that project is nearly done and should be ready soon. And what that'll enable you to do is, as you're rolling out prompt and model configuration updates that change your AI chatbot or transcription service or whatever AI powered experience you're building, if something goes really wrong, you can automatically roll it back. An internal joke I've actually made about the guarded releases capability for AI configs is that, in the future, maybe we can automatically roll back the AI apocalypse or something along those lines.
Awesome. We've got a ton more questions, so let me just keep it rolling for you. Let's see. From LaunchDarkly's perspective, what role does or should bug bounties have in a modern quality engineering workflow?
Yeah, I think bug bounties are still very important, especially if they're security related, or maybe they're related to open source packages or other things that your stack is using. There's always room for more de-risking. I think the thing that we're saying here is that with the release, this is the final moment in time before you impact all of your customers. We were talking about it the other day as sort of saying like, yes, in a soccer game or whatever sport you want to pick, you have defenders. But at the end of the field, you have the goalie that is the final line of defense before you lose the game, before something bad happens. And that's really what guarded releases are intending to be, is that final line of defense, and the most important one to ensure that your customers are not having a really negative impact. Certainly lots of room for other de-risking measures on the deploy side, or bug bounties and other things as well.
Cool. All right. One last question. And if we don't get to your question, we will make sure to follow up with you one-to-one after the webinar. We got you. But last one for you, Tim. What metrics or KPIs should businesses track to measure the success of their proactive bug detection and minimize downtime?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, obviously, your mean time to detect issues and resolve them is always going to be a key one. And one of the ones that we see is dramatically impacted by this, right? If you had a mean time to resolution that was like 8 hours before, that's because you had to figure out root cause, get all your engineers together, work on a fix, deploy the fix, have the deployment go through your, CI/CD process, and actually get it out on production to your customers. That takes a lot of time, and there's a lot of negative customer impact that's happening as a result. In this case, you click one button or no buttons because we're automatically rolling back, and the issue is addressed in milliseconds. And so the impact there is really dramatic. Maybe some additional metrics you could look at would just be your downtime, and more specifically, the number of incidents that you have that require a deploy versus a rollback using a feature flag. And obviously what we're proposing here is that latter category. More auto rollbacks or rollbacks using feature flags become the normal way to address, many software issues rather than like traditional incident management and code deploys.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Again, if we didn't get to your question, we will be reaching out one-to-one to continue the conversation. If you've got an emoji or a GIF or any vibes to drop in the chat, why don't you go ahead and do so? If not, we will see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone. Make sure you go and do some really good releases and not bad ones. We're happy to help.